I want to ask all of you a question. What is the first thing when you hear the word community? What do you associate with community? For some people, community can be associated with a book club. Some they can associate with a neighborhood. But the point being is that community is many things. But first off, what is community? Community, by definition, is a united group of people. What unites these communities can vary. Similar hobbies can unite a community. Maybe you live in the same place, that can also unite a community. And knowing this, I want you to imagine a world. It's hard to imagine, right? Knowing that community is just a united group of people. They're everywhere. Communities are naturally everywhere. In our house, you're exposed to your person, your family. Your neighbor is also a community. And when you go outside, you see buildings, institutions, schools. All of those have community inside of them. And then you go on the internet. The internet already has millions of communities within them. What do we observe? Where there are humans, there are communities. Aristotle once said, man by nature is a social animal. We need community in our lives. We need community just as much as we feel wanted.
That's why we have society. That's why we have all of these amazing communities. And yet, despite community being a necessity, not all communities are created equal. There will be healthy communities and unhealthy communities. But first, what do they look like? Healthy communities, at its core, make members feel safe and comfortable. They embrace individuality, and they make people feel like they belong. If a healthy community is this, though, what does an unhealthy community look like? In fact, it's quite the opposite. Unhealthy communities make members feel insecure. They attack their individuality, and they make them feel excluded. And an unhealthy community can do so much damage. I'm sure you or you know a person that are affected by these unhealthy communities. A study conducted by the Anti-Defamation League showed these effects, and it's detrimental. Their study focused on the toxic online multiplayer gaming communities and their impact that they had on the members. This is what they found. 68 of these online multiplayer gamers experienced physical threats, stalking, and sustained harassment. 53% of these people were targeted because of their race, religion, ability status, gender, or sexual orientation. And 16% of these gamers who received harassment became less social overall. And 14% of gamers who received harassment felt isolated. And it's not just this community. There are millions of other unhealthy communities dealing damage to people today. And for the longest time, I thought to myself, there must be something that separated these healthy communities from the unhealthy ones. And I didn't find any answer. It was only then that I was given the privilege to lead my own community that I found out. It all started last year. I was an awkward 12-year-old boy sitting alone in my cabin. I was staring at the wall because of sheer boredom for how many minutes straight. And I didn't really have a community to call my own, aside from my family. And then I heard a sentence. That sentence cured that boredom. The sentence was, hey, I saw some people solving Rubik's Cube at the snack bar. You want to go check them out? For some context, I am a very new to speedcuber. And a speedcuber is basically just a person who solves Rubik's Cubes competitively. And I didn't really have a community of speedcubers to call my own. I didn't know anyone who shared the same passion. So even at the thought of hearing other speedcubers in public was amazing to me. And so I ran full speed to the snack bar. I don't know how it went, how it happened, but I eventually sat with the cubers and we cubed together. And here's a picture of us. And don't mind me, I look very different. But the point is, we had a lot of fun. We cubed together, we raced against each other, and we talked about cubing as a whole, as a sport. And it was amazing. We agreed to meet at the next day, at the same place, same time, same occasion, but this time with more cubers. And so the next day, I found more cubers while eating dinner. And when we got to the snack bar, we were twice as many people than the previous day. Twice as many people meant twice the fun, but also twice the volume. And so, with more people, there was more challenges, more races, and we even learned a lot of things. We exchanged socials so we could build a community even after the camp was over. And then we built this community, but I didn't expect it to grow and to become the community it is today. It started from 10 members to 20, 30, and so on and so forth. And remember the thing I said earlier. There must have been something that separated healthy communities from unhealthy ones. And I found three things. The first one being, healthy communities had a clear goal. This goal is what unites the community and drives the community to be though it is today. And what was our goal for the speed cubing community? Well, our goal was to basically find as many speed cubers so we could all cube together and have fun. And we did this through something called cube meets. Cube meets are basically when people meet together and cube. That's a very complicated word with a very complicated origin. And so our hypothesis was, cubers attracted other cubers. So if we cubed outside in public, we would attract them. And we proved this to be effective in some way. And we did this everywhere we went. In every single event we went, we had these cube meets. Birthday party, we had a cube meet. Pizza party, cube meet. We had a camp, cube meet. If the world was ending, I'm sure we were going to have a cube meet. And this goal helped unite the community. This helped strengthen bonds. This helped build relationships. And as these communities started growing because of these meets, I faced a hurdle. And that leads me to my second point. Healthy communities need to have clear rules. They need to have clear rules that show the members the expected standard. And these rules are supposed to make the community a safer place. And this is very, very crucial. And I learned this the hard way. I had the magnificent idea of creating a community with almost zero rules. There was still an expected standard from the members. However, it wasn't really made clear. So thankfully, for the first few weeks, there hasn't been much conflicts. But as the community started growing, we started seeing more misunderstandings, which led to conflicts, which led to the community becoming a bad environment overall. I saw the problem and said, hey, we need rules. However, the thing is, the problem still remained. The rules were actually very vague. So the misunderstandings still remained, which led to conflict and which led to the community being a further disaster. So we had rules and everything, but why? They were very vague. So me and an amazing group of people got together and eventually thought to ourselves, what was best for the community? And we made rules. But the third thing that made this all possible, this one thing that made all of the cube meets, the rule revisions possible, was that we prioritized open communication. Open communication allows members to freely voice out their concerns without fear of them being attacked, without fear of being judged. And we almost cultivated this unconsciously and subconsciously. But the point is, we created a sense of open communication that basically said, hey, the community is imperfect. And we need you to make it better. And this is what made every single thing possible. From the entire community being formed in general, to the cube meets, to the rule revisions, open communication is what made it possible. And now, knowing three things that make a healthy community, I want you to imagine this. Imagine a world where every single community is a pleasant experience for people to interact. A pleasant experience where people can freely voice out their concerns, where they can just have fun without fear of being judged, without fear of being excluded, without fear of being isolated. That's hard to imagine, I know. But if we all make an effort to create healthy communities, we can see change. We can create communities with a clear goal, clear purpose, clear standards, and open communication. If you know a person that has similar interests with you, perhaps you do the same hobby, watch the same show, try to reach out to them and find other like-minded people to create a community. The next time you go out in public and you see a person wearing a shirt with your favorite character on it, let's say from a TV show, take the time to approach them and compliment their amazing sense of clothing. You might create a community. And if we all do this, we can see change. So I challenge all of you, let's create healthy communities for the benefit of our people. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.